I request that no one goes in and out during the lecture. And I request your full attention. Boliye Srimad Sadguru Sarkar ki Jai. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnur, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. When saints come to this earth, they come not because they have to, but because they want to. They are benevolent by nature. So when Sri Maharaj Ji took birth, he took it deliberately, not because he had to, not because he was forced to, but because he wanted to uplift humanity. He came to this world and he stayed here for 91 years. Through his thousands and thousands of discourses, and also through his thousands and thousands of devotional songs, bhajans and kirtans, Sri Maharaj Ji simplified the knowledge of the Vedas and Vedic scriptures. This knowledge is inaccessible to those under the control of Maya. We think that when we read a scripture that we are understanding it because we are reading the translation, Hindi translation or English translation. But it's not about language, it's about the concepts. The words of the scriptures are divine and their meaning is quite often very different from what we think it to be. So we are very likely to misinterpret the scriptures. This is why God sends his surrendered souls, we know them as saints, to this earth. And they simplify the knowledge of scriptures. Sri Maharaj Ji did this for 91 years. And he has explained the Vedas in a way that they were never explained before. So that we're not afraid of the Vedas anymore. What are the Vedas? I have nothing to do with them. We don't think this way anymore because he simplified the knowledge to such an extent. When someone has deep knowledge of the Vedas, then he can explain it to those of us who don't know it. And that knowledge is not memorized. That knowledge is not acquired from someone. It is knowledge that God gives to the surrendered soul. It's a gift of God to the one who surrenders to God. Sri Maharaj Ji, as I said, gave thousands and thousands of discourses and gave us the knowledge. Also, he gave knowledge through his kirtans and bhajans. I'm going to take up one of those bhajans from Prem Ras Madira, and I would like to explain it. I'm not going to ask you to sing after me. I'll just go line by line, and I would explain what the verses mean. Dwar patit ik ayori kishori radhe. Dwar patit ik ayori kishori radhe. Mangat bhikh प्रेम की यद्यपि पात्र संग नहीं लायो रे किशोरी राधे. पात्र संग नहीं लायो रे किशोरी राधे. O merciful Radharani, I am a sinner. And I am knocking at your door. I have come to beg for your mercy. I've come to your court of mercy, and I'm knocking and knocking. And I realize that although I am begging for divine love, yet I don't have anything, I don't have the suitable container in which to receive your divine love. Many people go to their gurus and they say, Guruji, please bless me. Bless me so that I may have darshan of Shyam Sundar. मुझे श्याम सुंदर के दर्शन करवा दीजिए. How can any guru, how can a saint give us that divine love of God if we are not ready for it, if we're not eligible for it? First of all, God does not give that love directly. Radharani doesn't give it directly. She gives it through a surrendered soul. God does not give his love directly. He gives it through the guru, through the saint. The term saint, the word saint, means one who is fully surrendered to God, one who has become divine. His mind is divine, so his thoughts are divine, all his decisions are divine, everything about him is divine. Maya has left him, or he may be eternally, he may be a saint who is Nitya Siddh, he may be a saint who was never tormented by Maya. The fact is that Maya can no longer go near him, and his every pore is permeated by God. He sees God everywhere. He sees Krishna everywhere. Jit dekhun tit sham mai hai. And that saint, that is a saint. A saint whom we accept into our lives, and we accept his philosophy, we accept his guidance, we call him the Guru. Only a Guru can give divine love. So Radharani, I have come begging at your door of mercy, the court of mercy, and I'm asking for divine love. So I am asking that you give me divine love through one of your saints. But I realize that I am not eligible. I'm not eligible to receive divine love. It's like someone who's feeling very cold, and at a distance there is someone who has a roaring fire going on. And the one who's feeling very cold, no talking please, no, go in the back. The one who's feeling very cold goes to the one who has a roaring fire going on and asks, may I have some fire? May I have some heat? That person says, well, bring something, I can give you some of these embers. I'll pick them up with these tongs. Just bring me something. So this foolish fellow brings a container, but that container is made of paper. And he says, give me. How can I give you? Your container will burn. You need to bring an appropriate container. Someone is giving out free milk, and you go to him and you say, here, give me some milk, please. Absolutely, I'm here to give you that. So he pours the milk, and the container, the glass you have taken, it has a hole in the bottom. So that's not an appropriate container. Similarly, O Radharani, I go to your loving saints and I ask for love, divine love, and I realize that I don't have a suitable container in which you can give me divine love through the Guru. It's an interesting fact that the milk of a lioness cannot remain, it will spoil, rather, in any other container besides a golden container. The container has to be made of gold, and then the milk of a lioness will stay fresh. Otherwise, it will spoil. So the container has to be appropriate. We ask the Guru, we ask Gurudev, please give me divine love. And he asks, well, where should I pour it? Where's your container? Your container, the heart, is impure. If divine love could be given into a heart which is impure, if it could be done, then that heart would be blown into smithereens. There would be nothing left, because that power is such that it cannot be contained in a material heart. So I'm asking for something that I'm not even eligible to receive. I know that I have no right to ask you for your divine love, and yet I'm asking. Then the devotee says, Vishtha Vishaya Hetu Nit Ablo Shukar Jo Bhatkayo Re किशोरी राधे, द्वार पतित एक आयो रे, किशोरी राधे. Radharani, since time immemorial, I have been assuming 8.4 million different life forms. And every time I came to this world, I was just like a pig that delights in eating waste matter. Pigs love to wallow in mud and in waste matter. So I have been no better than a pig. I have enjoyed these pleasures of the senses so much. I have always enjoyed pleasures of the senses. I have enjoyed the sights of this world, sounds of this world, the touch of this world, tastes, various delicacies that the world has to offer, and the fragrances of this world. And I'm so enamored with them that I never even thought, let me turn towards my mother. Let me go home to my mother. Let me go to Radharani. I never thought like this. I didn't think about this. So I am a very worldly person, oh Radharani. You know that. Only you know what I'm all about. So you know how worldly I am. You know how much I enjoy thinking about the world and tasting the pleasures of the world. Sattvic, Rajas, Tamas. Mostly Rajas and Tamas pleasures. Sattvagun, Rajogun, Tamogun, these are the three modes of Maya. Ajamekam lohita shukla krishnam. The Upanishads tell us that Maya, the eternal energy of God, Maya, the deluding potency of God, it is tricolored. It is white, red, and black. These three colors corresponding to Sattvagun, the mode of goodness, Rajogun, the mode of worldly passions and desires, and Tamogun, the mode of ignorance. I have been enjoying sattvic pleasures, rajasic pleasures, and tamasic pleasures, but mostly rajasic and tamasic pleasures. An example would be food-wise, let's say. Sattvic food is food that is freshly cooked. It's not overspiced, it's not overfried, it's not overcooked. It's vegetarian food, so sattvic food. Now, vegetarian food is not necessarily rajasic, it depends on how you cook it. But definitely non-vegetarian food is never sattvic. So sattvic food is always vegetarian food. But vegetarian food is not always sattvic. Because sometimes those vegetables, by looking at them, you cannot tell which vegetable it is because it's drowning in spices and oil and all that. And it's anyone's guess. So everybody's taking guesses. What do you think that is? I think it's zucchini. I think it's eggplant. No, I think it's okra. Can't tell because there's so many spices. Now that's not sattvic food. That's rajas. So let's say boiled vegetables or food that's not overcooked, it's all sattvic food. And then rajas food like rasgulla, kheer, puri, all that, that's rajas food. Tamas food would be meat and so on. Meat, eggs, alcohol is a tamasic food. So I have always enjoyed the pleasures of the world, the tastes of this world, the touches of this world, the fragrances of the world, and I'm very enamored with them. My attachments run very deep. My worldly attachments are very, very deep, O Radharani. And I am just wandering around in this world of desires. You have sent your loving saints to the world. Santan kahyo neku nahi manyo कियो सदा मन भायोरी किशोरी राधे कियो सदा मन भायोरी किशोरी राधे द्वार पतित एक आयोरी किशोरी राधे. You sent your loving saints, you send them time and time again, and they're here to tell me about you. They're here to wake me up. I've been sleeping. I've been in this state of slumber for countless lives, and you mercifully send your benevolent saints to wake me up. One of Sri Maharajji's bhajans is, Soi dulahni jaag sada so. तू सदा से सोई हुई है, हे जीवात्मा, अब जाग जा, आयो रसिक जगावन आप ही, जाग्यो तेरो भाग. कितना बड़ा सौभाग्य है तुम्हारा कि रसिक संत स्वयं आए हैं जगाने के लिए. अब तो उठ जा. So you've sent your loving saints and you continue to send them to wake me up, but I'm still sleeping. And they tell me about you. They explain so much to me, but I don't listen to them. And if I do listen to them, it's through this one ear, and that instruction goes out the other ear. I don't keep anything in between. I don't keep it with me. I just let it pass through my ears. That's it. And I say, I'm listening, I'm listening. Saints have such wonderful knowledge to impart to us, but we take it casually. We don't listen properly. We don't listen carefully. Sometimes we listen while we are doing household work. A lecture is going on, but we are listening while doing household work. That's not listening. That's just satisfying the mind that, chalo, I'm doing something good. I'm listening to a lecture of a saint. But the mind is not focused on what is being said. So a woman said to me, I listen to Sri Maharaj Ji. I listen to Jagatguru Sri Kripalu Ji Maharaj, and I don't understand why he says that we have to surrender 10%. And I was baffled. I said, well, he's my guru, and I know he never says 10% surrender is sufficient. She said, but I've been listening, and every time I hear him, he says 10%, 10%. Then I thought about it, and I said, oh, he says cent percent. Cent percent surrender, 100% surrender, not 10%. And I asked, how do you listen to him? Are you listening to him while sitting down? Well, no, I'm busy, so while I'm cooking, while I'm cleaning. That's why you thought it was 10%. It's cent percent. Saints tell us so much, and we need to really listen to them carefully. When we're listening to the teachings of a saint, we should listen thinking that there is nothing in the world for me. The world doesn't even exist. Just fully, attentively. Do you go to movies? Just nod, yes? Right? It's not a sin. You go to movies, yes. Now, in the movies, in the movie theater, you're told to turn off your cell phone, right? And you do it. Like, I don't want to be embarrassed. I don't want to be thought that I'm an idiot. I'm keeping my phone and my phone's going to ring. But we don't value the teachings of a saint as much as we value a movie, because the phone will go off. Phone will go off. Even after being requested to turn off the phone, somebody's phone will go off. And then somebody's phone is going off, and he or she doesn't know how to turn it off. That's even worse. They don't know how to turn it off. Well, I don't know, it's my phone, I don't know how to turn it off. So I think to myself, it's more important to turn off the phone at the movies, in the movie theater, or in a show. Like, you go to a show at Stone Mountain and they say, turn off your phones. Yes, I've done it because it's important. I need to listen to you. You're going to tell me so many amazing things about animals and this and that. Animals are going to come and they're going to entertain me. I need to turn my phone off. But when we listen to divine teachings, we don't do that. That means we don't value teachings of saints as much as we value the words of worldly people. How often we make a promise to a person and we say, I got to keep that promise. But how often people break promises that they make in satsang? I'll be there. I'll bring something to offer. I'll be there, absolutely. Then at the last moment, sorry, I can't make it. Something came up. What came up? Guests came. I couldn't make it. Promises are forgotten. Everything is forgotten because something has come up, something more important than God. We have to think about this. We have to think about this. Satsangi was singing before Maharaj Ji, "Bahut pyar karte hain tumko sanam." And Maharaji sang back, it's really funny, but so appropriate. Maharaji said, Kasme vaade pyar wafa, sab baatein hain, baaton ka kya? Oh, you're saying you love me so much. These are just words, they mean nothing. These promises you make, the words you say, the words you speak, they mean nothing. And it was brilliant. Maharaji responded him in the form of a song. Kasme vaade pyar wafa. So, when saints speak to us, we tend to just tune out. I don't know, what are they talking about? A lot of people say, well, these people, they have nothing better to do than to go and give lectures. They have nothing better to do, and they probably, he was probably just rejected by his family, so he became Babaji, started giving lectures. Oh, he became Babaji because he wanted to fill his stomach, for the sake of his stomach. Now, mind you, there may be many people like that, but what if we are judging a saint like that? What if we are judging a saint like that, who has so much to offer to us? So we don't listen to saints, but we do listen to someone. The one we listen to is our own mind. The Bhagavad Mahapuran says, Na kuryat karhi chit sakhyam manasi hyanavasthite. Do not make friends with your mind. Do not think your mind is a friend. It's not a friend, it's an enemy. Do not believe your mind, don't trust the mind. Man ko mano shatru uski sunahu jani kachu pyare, says Jagatguru Sri Kripalu Ji Maharaj. Don't listen to the mind, it's an enemy. But we listen to our mind. I'll do what my mind tells me to do. And this mind has put us in so much trouble. This mind has kept us away from true happiness in the form of God, not once or twice or thousands of times, but uncountable times. Our mind has convinced us not to go towards God. No, it's too difficult. Do you think you can do that? No. You can't. You're a householder, you're a grihastha, you can't be doing that. God is a luxury you cannot afford. The mind says this. You're too busy to meditate on God. What are you talking about? You have a family. Don't even go there. Our mind has convinced us to go away from God, and we consider our mind our best friend. And it's silly. Why should we do that? But our mind convinces us, hey, I'm good for you. And we say, yes, sir. Okay then, good friend. We listen to our mind, we don't listen to the saints. Sri Maharaji has pointed out that the hippie movement that was there in the 60s, I believe, the hippies used to say, we are free from all conventions. We don't follow society's conventions. We are free thinkers. We are not a slave of society. But in fact, these people were slaves of their senses. They were slaves of their mind. They did whatever the mind said. The mind said, go and take drugs, go and be promiscuous, and they listened to the mind. And they said, we are free. We are not going to listen to what society says. And that's a big joke. They were slaves of their minds. You know who a free person is? The one who doesn't listen to his mind. The one who goes against what the mind says. He's not a slave of his mind. The one who becomes a servant of a guru, he's a free person because he's no longer a slave of his mischievous mind. If we do exactly what our mind tells us to do, and we know in the back of our mind, we know this is dangerous, that I'm going on a dangerous road, and yet we go on the dangerous road, then we are truly foolish. And our mind has convinced us to go in the danger zone again and again. So we've come away from God, so far away that we don't even realize how far away we've come from God. And if we do go to Him, it's to ask Him for something or the other. How many people are there in the world? Just think how many people there must be in the world who go to God only when they need God. I need good marks, so I need to go towards God. I need a child, we're a childless couple, let's go to God. I need this and that. I want God to give me more money, a better job, a good daughter-in-law. I'm going to go towards God. That's not devotion. That's just selfishness. Selfishness. And a lot of people say, well, I'm a selfish devotee. No. Take out the part of devotee. Take out the devotee word and let's just say we're just selfish. That's it. A selfish devotee is someone like Kubja, Draupadi. These are selfish devotees. Gajraj. These personalities loved only God and God alone, but they asked God for something. So they are selfish in their devotion, as opposed to the gopis who were selfless devotees. But we are not devotees, we're just selfish. We just go to God when we need God, and we think God is going to give us whatever we ask for. And we think that paying the Pandit a little bit money and asking him to recite the Mrityunjay jap again and again, Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvamivaruk, the Mrityunjay jap, I can ward off death by having a priest recite the Mrityunjay jap. Saints don't tell us this. Saints do not tell us that this is true. They tell us this is ridiculous. Do you think you can conquer death by just reciting Mrityunjay jap for $101? That's it? That's all it takes? Saints put true wisdom. They give us true wisdom. They knock some sense into our heads. And we are not willing to listen to them, but we are very willingly listening to our mind, which is very, very, very spoiled mind. It's a very unruly mind, and we listen to it. So Radharani, that's my reality. That I don't listen to the saints, I listen to my mind. Jani, jani, अपराध करत नित नेक हुनाहि लजायुरी किशोरी राधे. My merciful mother, O Radharani, I commit sins knowingly without feeling the least bit of remorse. Every person has a basic sense of what's right and what's wrong. Everyone knows that instinctively because we have been born again and again. We've listened to divine teachings again and again. And God is inside of us, giving us a nudge. This is the right thing to do. This is the wrong thing to do. So we all basically know the difference between right and wrong. But Radharani, I know the difference between right and wrong, and yet I commit sins. I commit mistakes, knowingly. If a person doesn't know what is right and he does something wrong, he's guilty. But if a person knows that he's doing something wrong, he knows the difference between right and wrong, and he still does wrong, then he's more guilty than the other fellow. If someone has a guru teaching him what to do, and he still makes mistakes, he still commits sins, then he is more guilty than someone who doesn't have a guru in his life. We can say, Bechara, usko pata hi nahi chala. Poor man, he doesn't know, he doesn't have a guru. He doesn't know. But what about the one who does have a guru? He should know. We should know what to do and what not to do. But Radharani, I know, but I'm just knowingly committing sins. And what is a sin in the first place? According to our scriptures, we commit a sin whenever we forget God. Forgetfulness of God that is the definition of sin. What is sin? Forgetfulness of God. Plain and simple. So although the scriptures tell us, well, telling lies is a sin, harming others is a sin, par peeda sam nahi adhamai, saach barobar tap nahi, jhoot barobar paap, telling lies is a sin, hurting others is a sin, yet the accurate definition of sin is forgetfulness of God. So now, you could be doing charity and yet you don't have God on your mind. You're doing that charity for another reason, not for the love of God. You don't have the thoughts of God on your mind. Then it's hard to believe, but that charitable work that you're doing is also sinful. On the other hand, Arjun was fighting a war. He's fighting in a battle. And he's shooting arrows at the enemy. Yet, he's not committing a sin. He is not doing anything wrong. He is practicing devotion because his mind is always on Sri Krishna. In his mind, there is only one thought: Krishna, 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 Krishna. That's it. The Pandav brothers, the 5 Pandavas, they are ruling a kingdom, but they're not committing any sin. They're not involved in any worldliness, because while ruling the kingdom, they're all thinking only about Sri Krishna. They love only Sri Krishna. They have no attachment anywhere else. So what we're doing outside, outwardly, that doesn't tell us whether or not we're committing a sin. What we are thinking of, that tells us if we're committing a sin or not. Forgetfulness of God is a sin. Radharani, I have forgotten you so many times. In one day, I hardly remember you. So I am a sinner of great proportions. And I am adding to my sins by listening to my mind. And even though I know what is right and what's wrong, I have been taught the difference between what is real and what is unreal, what is temporary and what is permanent. I know that. I know that this body is not permanent, it's temporary. It takes birth and therefore it dies. And I know that the soul is eternal. It does not take birth and therefore it does not die. I know that. I've been told this. And I know that I am not this body made of 5 elements. I know that I am the soul, the Atma, which is a divine spark of God. It's a fraction of God. And yet, I think myself to be the body, and I think the world is mine, and I get very excited about worldly acquisitions. I get very, very excited. I become very, very happy when I receive something of the world. And saints have so many good things to tell me, I have no time for them. Listen to Sant Kabir. He is known for imparting deep knowledge in such simple language and beautiful words. Kabira suta kya kare, jago japo murari, ek dina hai sovana, lambe paon pasari, Kabira, lambe paon pasari. Our mind says, go to sleep. Kabir Das says, don't go to sleep. Wake up, wake up. And I understand that you are fond of sleeping, but don't you know that there will come a day when you'll sleep for a long, long time? When death comes, you'll be sleeping for a long time. So you can sleep at that time, but now is the time to wake up, because these precious moments of human life are just slipping by. You're just wasting them. Why? There was a saint, he was traveling, and while he was traveling, night came, and he thought, I shall take shelter under a tree. And he was trying to sleep under the tree, and mosquitoes there were very big, very thick, and they kept on biting him. And he didn't get mad at the mosquitoes. He didn't think, oh, how unfortunate I am. He thought, God is so merciful. He sent these mosquitoes to remind me that I should not be sleeping, that I should be awake and I should be practicing devotion. Saints talk like this. We need to listen to them. What are they saying? Each and every word is precious. Sri Maharaj Ji used to give lectures, and you can listen to them even now. Thousands of them, thousands upon thousands. And he used to say, ek ek shabd pe dhyan dijiye. Listen to each and every word of mine attentively. What do? Somebody's coming in, we're looking. So many people are looking. Who's coming in? Who's going out? Why do we do that? Because we don't value the philosophy, the teachings of saints. This is not important. What the Vedas say, what the Purans say, who cares? That's just unnecessary. It's trivial. But I will listen to worldly conversations. I will listen to gossip. I will talk about this one and that one. Saints have so much to offer us. Kabir Das ji again says, काशी काबा एक है राम रहीम, मैदा एक पकवान बहु, बैठ कबीरा जीम, कबीरा बैठ कबीरा जीम. In the world you hear, okay, you're Hindu, you're Muslim, there's a fight. The Hindus are saying, no, let's build a mandir. The Muslims are saying, let's build a mosque. That issue was settled recently. But how many people got involved in that? And they tried to drag Sri Maharaji into it. They tried. Sri Maharaji dismissed them very quickly. They said, Maharaji, you're the 5th Jagat Guru. You must come and tell us. They must stand up for the Hindus. Maharaji said, and who do you think I am, a fool? That I will get involved in the dirty politics? Because let's face it, the Hindu leaders are not truly devotees, and the Muslim leaders are also not truly devoted to God. These are just politicians. I'm not a politician. And Sri Maharaji would say that if it's a true Hindu, then he will say to the Muslim brother, go ahead and build a mosque. And if he's a true Muslim, if he's a lover of God, he would say to his Hindu brother, go ahead and build a temple. Build a Ram Mandir there. But neither party is saying that because there's no one who's devoted to God. They're just politicians. Kabir Das ji is saying, and about Kabir Das ji, it's known that he was perhaps a Hindu, perhaps a Muslim. No one knew. So he's saying Ram Rahim. Whether you say Ram or Rahim, it's the same thing. Whether you go to Kashi or Kaaba, Kashi and Kaaba are both one. Ram and Rahim are one God. Every place of pilgrimage is valuable. It's the same. And he says, very, very, very common example, or rather very worldly example that we can understand. He said, the flour, it's one flour. Maida is there, that flour is there, but you make different delicacies out of it. You're making puri, or you're making a samosa out of it. You're making something sweet out of it. And we're eating, it's all the same. It's the same maida, but there are many delicacies that are made from the same. In the same way, there's one God. You call him Ram, I call Rahim, I call him, or you call him God, I call him Ahur Mazd, I call him Satshri, it's all the same. Saints have such amazing knowledge to share with us. They don't tolerate any narrow-mindedness. They get rid of our narrow-mindedness if we listen to them, but we are listening more to the world. So I am committing sins knowingly. I'm merciful Radharani, nar tanu hari hari jana anukampa. Nar tanu hari hari jana anukampa. Sab hi paay gamayori kishori radhe. Sab hi पाय गमायोरी किशोरी राधे द्वार पतित एक आयोरी किशोरी राधे. I have received all the possible graces from you. I have received a human form of life which is so rare and so valuable. Durlabham manusham janma prarthyate tridashairapi, say the Purans. Human form of life is very rarely attained. And all living beings desire to be born human. All living beings. Durlabho manusho deho dehinam chanabhangura tatrapi durlabham manye vayoriv tatrapi durlabham manye Vaikuntha Priya Darshanam, Bhagavad Puran. Human form of life is very rare. Durlabh. And I have received it. So I am supremely fortunate. And I have also received the grace of God. The biggest grace of God is that God has brought a guru into our lives. So if you have a guru in your life, then you have received the ultimate grace of God. There is no bigger grace than that. That's it. Biggest grace of God, that God brings a guru into your life. And then I received Guru's anukampa, Guru's grace also. What is the grace of the Guru? There are too many to count. But main graces are that he gives us the knowledge of God, He gives us clarification. We can ask questions. He gives answers. He discloses, he reveals a clear path leading to God, which is not complicated at all. He picks us up when we are down. He inspires us sitting within. He inspires us to walk on the path. He forgives countless times. He forgives us countless times. He does so much for us, and ultimately he gives God realization. God doesn't give it, the Guru gives it. So he does so much for us. He takes us to God. So I have received the human form of life, the grace of God, and the grace of Guru. I received these three graces, which are the biggest graces, and what did I do with them? I just trampled them under my feet. I wasted the opportunities. I did not realize the importance of the human life. I did not realize that God has given me all His grace. I did not value the grace of my Guru. I have been extremely careless. I have been extremely lazy, sleeping in the stupor of Maya. Radharani, that is my reality. That is what I'm all about. You see, it's good to accept ourselves to be who we really are. Because people of the world, they are our friends, acquaintances, family members, they don't dare to tell us our reality. They don't dare to say, hey, you are a very worldly kind of a fellow. What do they say? Aap to bahut bade bhakt hain. You are a very big devotee. Nobody's going to tell you, well, you know what? You're a fool. They'll say, you're very intelligent. That's very smart of you. Very, very, very good. You're a good fellow. You're gem of a man. Gem. We may be like dirt, but somebody calls us gem of a man, gem of a woman, whatever it is. We say, well, indeed, I'm like that. I didn't think I was like that, but I guess I must be, because he's saying that I am. We'll believe the other person. When we are complimented, oh, we become so happy. Saints don't compliment us like this. They tell us the reality. Shri Maharaj Ji was scolding a devotee once, and he said, you are very worldly, bahut sansari ho. Bahut sansari vyakti se tumhari ghor attachment hai. And I thought, who would say that? Who besides a guru will say that to you? Because even mother and father won't say, hey, what are you doing? You're doing this wrong. This is not right. The son is a wife beater. And the daughter-in-law says to her in-laws, well, he's beating me up. And the parents may say, well, we can't say anything to him. He'll kick us out of the house also. There are scenarios like that. These are realistic scenarios. This is a realistic scenario. That I cannot tell my son that he shouldn't be doing this, because then I'm dependent on him now. I'm old, and he's my support. And he'll kick us out of the house, so I'm not going to say anything. Even mother and father do not tell the child. They don't have the guts to tell the child many times. But Guru will tell you. He will praise you when there's a need. But he will tell you that what you're doing wrong. Maharaji was talking to a devotee, Sri Maharaji was talking to a devotee by the name Narayan, and Maharaji said, your name suits you very well. Sounds like a compliment? Yes, Narayan is a name of God. So then Sri Maharaji explained, and what he said was something totally different from a compliment. He said, Narayan sleeps in the water. Narayan, Mahavishnu, he's sleeping in the water, you're sleeping in the world. So your name is good. You're just like Narayan, both are sleeping. So that was not a compliment, but it was such a merciful thing to say. To wake the devotee up, wake up. If it's not a guru, he will say, well, I can get something out of this man, out of this fellow, so I will just say to him that he is very intelligent. He's written a book which makes no sense, no heads or tails, but this fellow is saying, he's a rich man, he's saying, please write something for this book, and I will write, what can I do, because he's my disciple, and he will no longer be my disciple if I don't write something in favor of his book. So I will write down, this is the best book ever. And this is something that I have seen, that there was a book, little short book, written by someone who was clearly suffering from some mental problem. And he wrote in that, just to give you a little example, that Sri Krishna says, whenever there is a decline in dharma, I come to the world, and the right author is saying, I too come to the world whenever there's a need for me. And right then and there, I closed the book, because he was insisting I read this book. I said, let me see. And he said, this book has been sanctioned by my guru, and he has praised it highly. And I thought, indeed, this cannot be a guru who is sanctioning this. What was said, another thing that was said in the book is, God sent me message that he will bring his aerial vehicle to the school compound where my daughter teaches. So I went there at the right time. But when I went there was no aerial vehicle, there was no God. And then I went home disappointed, but then I got a message from God saying, the aerial vehicle is under repairs. So that just convinced me that this fellow is suffering from some mental problem. But you see, his so-called guru is telling him in the front of the book that my disciple has written a wonderful book. And yes, I remember. And I hope he keeps on writing such books. And I thought, heavens, oh my goodness. A guru does not do that. A guru does not compliment someone unnecessarily. He will tell you as it is. Once a devotee said to Sri Maharaji, Maharaji, I have my room in Mangad. I have it somewhere else. My friends have it over here, so if I could please have my room. Maharaji said, well, talk to the devotees who are in charge of that. Maharaji, I did, and they said that belongs to someone else, so I'm just asking you. And Maharaji let her have it. Maharaji said, तुम बड़े लोग हो, इसलिए सोचते हो कि मैं सब कुछ कर दूंगा तुम्हारे लिए. You're a rich person, so you think that I will do what you ask me to do. How dare you? How would that person feel whose room you want to take over? And Maharaji said, don't you know that I don't care for Brahma, Vishnu, Shankar? In other words, no matter how great you are, I'm not going to listen to you and accept what you're saying and do you favors just because you are wealthy. I do not care about your wealth. So a guru tells us what is wrong. A guru is most merciful. And I received the greatest grace of God in the form of a guru, but I did not value that gift. I wasted it all. तुम बिनु हेतु कृपालु कृपालु ही तुम बिनु हेतु कृपालु कृपालु ही पुनि काहे बिसरायो रे किशोरी राधे पुनि काहे बिसरायो रे किशोरी राधे. Finally, the devotee says, O Radharani, Sri Maharaji says in the words of an aspiring devotee, O causelessly merciful Kishori ji, Radharani, why have you forgotten this sinful soul who is your own child? In other words, I am a sinner. I accept that. You know more than anyone else that I am a sinner. I have forgotten you, and I don't have much love for you, and I am extremely, extremely attached to the world, material world. I don't have any faith in myself. I know who I am, but I do have faith that you are causelessly merciful and that you will accept me. Why have you forgotten me, O Radharani? I know that I'm a sinner, yet I am yours. So accept me, my merciful mother, my merciful Radharani. So, in this devotional song, in this bhajan, Sri Maharaji has put a lot of philosophy of the Vedas, Vedic scriptures, the Vedas, Purans, Gita, Ramayana, and such. We have lots of scriptures in Hinduism. And the philosophy is given not only in the form of discourses by Sri Maharaj Ji, but also in the form of songs, so that we may never deviate from it, so that we are always in touch with it, whether we are singing or listening to lectures or reading them. We're always reminded of the philosophy, and I tell you, knowing the philosophy is so important, so important. Siddhanta boliya chitte na kar alas. Mahaprabhuji reminds us to not be careless, not be lazy, and listen to the teachings. And the scriptures say, avritti rasakridupadeshat. Listen to divine teachings again and again. Listening to them once will not do it. We're not people of Satyug who can internalize the teachings after hearing them once. We are now nowhere near that situation. We are such people that we forget spiritual teachings like this. In the snapping of fingers, we forget it very quickly. But we listen to the worldly conversations and we remember them for a long, long time. Our mind, the Kali Yugi mind, is such that it has to listen to a lot of satsang, a lot of teachings, again and again, again and again. Then the mind is affected a little bit. But we need to get a little bit of worldly atmosphere, a little bit of kusang, damaging environment. If we are in that a little bit, we are harmed to a great extent. So we need to listen to divine teachings again and again. And thankfully for us, there is no lack of divine teachings by Jagadguru Sri Kripaluji Maharaj. And they are in the form of books and CDs and DVDs and on the internet. You know about that. So listening to philosophy is extremely important. And this particular bhajan is from Danya Madhuri. I want to point out Prem Ras Madira, the importance of Prem Ras Madira, because this is part of Prem Ras Madira. And there are 21 sections in this wonderful lyrical composition of Sri Maharaj Ji. These 21 sections take the devotee into 21 different moods. And this mood is the mood of humility, humbleness. Danya Madhuri. Dinta means humility. So we are accepting our pitiable condition in front of Radharani, that I am a sinner of great proportions, and I have come begging at your door, and I am careless, I am a lazy person. Danya Madhuri. This is very important for us. We shall explore more and more for the entire duration of this retreat, and we will learn more and more. We will practice devotion more and more during this retreat. Boliye Srimad Sadguru Sarkar ki Jai. Srimad Yugal Sarkar ki Jai. Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Jai Jai Shri Radhe.